Well, hello everyone. We hope and pray that this video message finds you doing well. We're prayerful that the favor of God is surrounding you and you are being protected by that invisible favor shield that we speak of often. Uh, just know that First Lady and I have been praying for you and covering you in prayer, and we are walking by faith that all is well with you. I wanted to take a few minutes today to come to you with a message about some changes that are going to be happening when you come to worship on the church campus. Now, we've been having a glorious time doing virtual church, and we're going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future until there's a vaccine created for this virus, and until the Holy Spirit releases us to go back to the large mass gatherings like we're normally accustomed to having. But until then, we're going to continue to do virtual, and we're going to continue to meet even on our church campus with our COVID-19 protocol in place. Now, as it pertains to that protocol, there's going to be some changes that you'll notice tomorrow if you are in fact a part of the group that has been coming to worship on our church campus. Number one, what you're going to notice when you come onto the campus is that we're doing everything that is within our arm's reach to assure your safety when you come to worship on campus. I want to tell you about a few of those things today for the purposes of you knowing that, hey, it's okay. I can come to my church and worship God with the utmost confidence that we're doing everything we can to keep you safe. And then also I want to make you aware of these changes so that when you come and things are not quite the way that you remember them being, that you won't be offended by them. So having said that, tomorrow what we're asking, effective immediately for this Sunday's worship experience, we're asking that when you come on campus to please use the front entrance, okay? We know we have many different ways to get into our church sanctuary, but we're asking for everyone to use the front entrance, okay? Now, our trustees, obviously, as they have a job to do, some of them will use the back, but even our trustees, upon coming in and dropping their things, they'll come to the front to participate in what I'm about to tell you next. We want you to come in through the front door. At the front door, you will be greeted by a team of volunteer healthcare providers. We've been so blessed at our church and are so blessed at our church that we have several individuals that work and have been working in the healthcare profession. So they're going to greet you when you come in the morning, and when they greet you, they're also going to take your temperature. They're going to do two things. They're going to take your temperature, and then they're going to log your presence in our service for contract tracing purposes. So they'll take your temperature. Now, at that point, when they take your temperature, if you have a temperature that is greater than 99.5, then you will not be allowed to come into the worship service or come into the sanctuary at this particular time. According to the CDC and other professional doctors and physicians, anything above typically 100, I think it's 100.4, is considered a fever and possibly a symptom of COVID-19. So we want to peel it back just so that we can have a little larger window to work with. We're going to peel it back to 99.5, which at that particular time will qualify you as one that's having what's called a low-grade fever. And so we want to take every necessary precaution to protect those who will come in to the sanctuary, and then perhaps notify you that maybe there's something on the horizon that you need to seek some medical attention for. So wanted to get that to you first and foremost, so that when you come and you experience and someone asks you to take your temperature so that you won't be offended. They'll also be asking your name if they don't already know it, and they'll be jotting it down. And again, this is for the purposes of contract tracing. If someone comes in and who we didn't discover had a fever and later comes back and says, well, I had COVID-19 and I didn't know it and I was at church, then we need to be able to turn your name in so that you can be notified that you were in the proximity of someone that had COVID-19. So 2 things, just to say it again, you're going to have your temperature taken, and we're also going to journal your name, and you'll be logged in as a person that was in attendance for this particular day. Okay. Secondly, when you come into the sanctuary, and we've been doing this for quite a while now, but you won't just be able to go and fill in the sanctuary any type way that you want to. There are our ushers have been preparing, and they have placed papers down in our sanctuary as to where you may be seated. Okay. Now this is so that we can observe our social distancing guidelines. Okay, we absolutely going to do everything we can to keep everybody 6 foot apart, at least 6 foot apart. We've been blessed so far that we've been much more spread out than that. Okay, so but to make sure that we're at least 6 foot apart, we will have markers in the pews as to where you can sit. We ask that when you come in, that you don't sit anywhere that you don't see a marker for you to sit. Okay, this is for your safety, this is for your neighbor's safety, and everyone that may come and be a part of our worship experience. Also, we've asked that everyone, and we've been doing this for some time now, I think everyone should be kind of acclimated to it, that if you're coming, that you wear a face covering of some sort. Okay, that you put something over your face, and that's mandatory at the O for you to, if you want to come in and be a part of the worship experience and the gathering, to cover your face. Now, in the event that you come and you leave the house for whatever reason, maybe you were rushing, maybe you forgot it, maybe it fell on the ground on your way into the sanctuary and you don't want to put it on your face, if you would kindly speak to one of the attendants at the door or one of the ushers, they will get you one. We have some in the church facility for those people who forget their mask. Now, understand, we don't want to be a face mask provider, okay? So don't just rush out the house and don't bring one on purpose so I can get one at the church. Please remember to bring your face mask. But in the event that you do forget it, you don't have to turn around and go all the way back home. We will have some in the church for you to use. Lastly, we want to just make sure that as we all enjoy the worship experience, that we keep those face coverings on during times like the offering, and during times when we are getting ready to leave the church after the benediction. We ask, and we know it's so tough because we all love the O, and what that means for many of us is that we love the people that come to the O. We love the experience of worship at our church, and so we know it's very difficult not to congregate, not to hug and kiss and parlay around in the sanctuary and on the parking lot after service. Listen, I know it's tough. It's been tough on me. But the message I have for all of us is that this too shall pass, okay? It won't be this way always. But what we're asking, that during offering that you remain 6 foot from your neighbor. If you got to say something to someone, make sure that you're observing 6 foot apart. And then when you're leaving, to be quick. When the benediction is over, let's give God the praise. Let's blow kisses to our neighbor, give them air hugs, whatever it is that we need to do. But let's make sure that we're leaving, that we're staying spaced, that we get in our car. And if you want to speak to someone, then perhaps you would call them or do whatever you do after the church service is over with. Listen, guys, I know this is different. I know this is not what we are accustomed to doing, but we're putting some things in place, and I hope I hit them all. If not, if you come and you see something that's a little different, please don't be offended. Just know that we're doing everything we can to keep you safe, okay? I know it's different, but the thing I want to tell everybody, again, and just to repeat, is that this too shall pass. One of the virtues that the Spirit of God bursts inside of us is patience, okay? And so as believers and Christians, God has given us all the patience we need to be able to faithfully walk through this season so that all of us can remain safe and healthy and live to praise God and to share his gospel another day, okay? Having said that, I am looking forward to seeing all of you who are not ready to come back to church just yet in the physical sense. So many people have been jumping online and being a part of the worship experience virtually. So continue to do that. We'll be on at 8:30 in the morning. And then we'll jump in the car and we'll head right down to the campus for praise and worship that begins at 10 a.m. And typically church is over sometime between 11:30 and 12. So from an hour and a half to 2 hours, we'll be in there worshiping God and sharing the gospel. So we look forward to worshiping with you in one of those two ways on tomorrow. Remember, you can watch the sermon virtually on our church app, also on www.ilovetheo.org, or you're welcome to come to our church campus and be a part of the gathering as we give God a high praise at 1900 Society Hill Road, Darlington, South Carolina. God bless you, and we look forward to an awesome day of worship at the O in the morning.